Hi, all. Welcome to the L Cube Show. Today's guest is Spur. He's going to tell us all about Kedarnath, Himalayas, Uttarakhand, how to reach there, and the Gupkashi, and where Shiva and Parvati got married, and the mysticness of the Himalayas to the yogis, to the agoris, and also about the 2013 floods, which has taken lives of 70,000 people in near Kedarnath because of the outburst of the Mandakini River. So we have all those information. I really pray for those who have lost their family members. May their soul rest in peace, and they have Lord Shiva's blessings. Please do subscribe to the L Cube Show for interesting podcast. Let's learn together. Thank you. Hi, Sparsh. Hello, welcome to the YouTube show. Welcome to the L Cube Show, Sparsh.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so the L Cube Show is for learning purpose. I have a passion of learning all my life, and I wish everyone should learn. So that's the whole reason behind this. So today's topic is going to be about Kedarnath. I really, really want to dig deeper about Kedarnath. I know there are a lot of videos about how to go there, how to, travel, the restrictions and the registrations. But briefly, let's start by talking about the temple history. Can you please tell me briefly about the temple history?
Okay. So to know about the Kedarnath temple, we need to dive into the Mahabharata times. So what happened was, when the five Pandavas won the war against their own kin, right? They were cursed due to killing their own brothers and their own blood. So for redemption, they went in search. They handed over the kingdom to their sons and the daughters, and they went on a path to attain the blessings of Shiva.
Basically, moksha.
Moksha, you could say. Moksha, redemption. So when it's all started from Kurukshetra, then the Varanasi, Kashi, and coming up, when they reach around. So Kedarnath is in the Garhwal sector of Uttarakhand, amidst the Himalayas. And the history goes around is that when they were seeking and they were trying to find Lord Shiva, they came around a place called Gupkashi, which is around 30 kilometers prior to the base of the trek of Kedarnath, as of right now. And out there, Bhim, who was said to be the strongest of all the Pandavas, right? And he saw that Shiva, there's some light around, and Shiva to hide himself from all the Pandavas because he did not want to be found by them.
Okay.
And he did not want it to be easy for them, because if everyone gets moksha so easily,
he does that. Yes.
He does that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's his best nature.
Yes.
So yeah. So when this was happening, Bhim, he grew his size from a normal human to taller than a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And Shiva was hiding in the form of a bull between the herd of bulls.
Okay.
Shiva is a god.
Yes.
And all these bulls passed below the legs of Lord Shiva, or of Bhim, sorry.
Yeah.
But Shiva being the Almighty, he could not.
Yeah.
And that's how they recognized this is Lord Shiva.
Yes.
So Lord Shiva started running, and he started putting himself into the ground. Bhim caught the tail of the bull, and he just tried to pull it out.
Okay.
And to force his power, Shivji, he separated into parts.
Okay.
And this is happening at where the current Kedar Ghati is, where the Kedar Valley is.
Okay.
And that's how the 5 Kedars come into place.
Okay.
So Kedarnath is where the hump of the bull is.
Okay.
Hence the Kedarnath temple.
Right.
Then the second temple is Mad Maheshwar.
Okay.
Third is Tungnath. Tungnath is where the limbs and the heart is. So
Okay.
Tung in Hindi means the limbs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then the fourth is Rudranath. Rudra is where the Rudra is. This part,
Wow.
the upper part of it.
Yeah.
And fifth is Kalpeshwar. That's where the tail is. Kalp is in Hindi we call here. And that's how the five Kedars come into place. And the
Okay.
sixth part, which is the horn, all the way went to Nepal, and it's called Pashupatinath.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yes.
So when you're saying this, I have this imagination of whenever you're talking about the parts of the bull, you know how in a human body we have the chakras, the seven chakras. The
Yes.
seventh chakra is the moksha, the final where you reach the god, right? Do you
Right.
think it has a significance to this story and significance to all these temples?
Of course. Of course. So from 13th century to 17th century, the temple was under snow in the ice age and the glacier, and it was rediscovered in the 17th century by archaeologists, by religious archaeologists from the Himalayas, from, we could say, the more human form of us humans.
So when is Adi Shankaracharya? When did he
Yes.
come into all this?
Yes. Now, that is one notion of how historians portray the history of the temple.
Mhm.
Now, second is, according to Shanti Puran in the Hindu mythology, it is said that Adi Shankaracharya, who is said to be the founder of Sanatan Dharma and the founder of Hinduism, the highest saint in India, he found this temple when in 8th century.
Right. Okay.
And the ice age happened. It is proven that 400 years the temple was under snow by the
Okay.
archaeologists. But
Right.
these two notions still portray, and there's no exact clarification when it happened.
Okay.
Either 8th century or either the 13th century.
Okay. So, from what the story I have heard is that initially the Pandavas are the ones who actually built the temple, and then it was restored by Adi Shankaracharya, and then maybe the Ice Age, the Hima Age, whatever you're talking about, and then in 17th century, some archaeologists or some local people has found the temple again.
Okay, so if you're bringing Pandavas back into the picture,
Mhm.
where the current temple is, Pandavas built a small temple where they did the meditation and the puja to please Shiva
Okay.
at Kedarnath.
Okay.
That is around 2 to 3 kilometers more into the mountains.
Okay.
And it's said that they built the temple there, but that temple could not withstand the time, the
Right.
force of time, you could say.
Okay. Okay.
And later, either Adi Shankaracharya in of Pandavas built it. The Kedarnath temple it's an architectural marvel. The stones that are used to build the temple come from a village in Karnataka.
Okay.
That's the exact place from where the priests are. No, from that era to this era, it's the only family that prays or that is the priest of the temple. They are called the Ravals. Ravals, Ravals, Ravals.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and these are blocks of around 2 to 3 meter of cubic diameter,
Yeah.
and they're made in such a way they're interlocked.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah, and the main, the most amusing thing is how were the stones brought from Karnataka to that place where there were nothing to transport it except for human or animal transportation.
Yes.
How did it reach there?
Yes. Wow. Wow. Ancient humans did wonders. They really did wonders.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. Okay. Okay. So when you said this interlocking system, I don't know why in all my podcasts, Brodishwara Temple is coming continuously. My viewers know this, but because in all my podcasts, somehow or the other, the Brodishwara Temple of Tanjavur, are you aware of it?
Yeah.
It keeps
Yes, I'm
coming.
aware.
So when you said interlocking and the stone of that cubic meter, that is how Brodishwara Tanjavur Temple was built too. So the tomb
Yes.
of it is interlocked like that. So there is nothing to stick the stones together. It's actually
No.
the interlocking engineering system.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And that system withstood the ice age, the 400 years of buried snow. It withstood, I don't know how many natural force on it, and it's still there.
Which happens every day in Kedarnath. All the
Yes,
natural
of
forces happen every day in Kedarnath. Today too, while
course.
we are speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one of the Jyotirlingas, right? I believe it's 11th
Yes.
of Jyotirlingas.
Yes.
So
So, yeah.
Jyotirlingas are self-created, aren't they?
Okay. Yes. So, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. These
Mm-hmm.
are the three almighty gods in Hinduism,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Brahma has his Brahmlok.
Mm-hmm.
Vishnuji has his Vaikunt.
Mm-hmm.
What about Shiva? Shiva is the only amongst the three almighty gods who reside on planet Earth. And we believe it to be the place called Kailash, right?
Yes.
So, when Vishnuji, because Shivji is also the destroyer, he's said to be the destroyer,
Yes.
right? So when Vishnuji asked Shivji, you need to be there to guide the humankind always. That's how the 12 Jyotirlings come into place. Shivji said that this is where, if a human visits, prays, makes his presence, he can find all his answers. He can reach out to me.
Yeah.
So the 12 Jyotirlings, and 11th Jyotirling is Kedarnath amongst
Okay.
the 12.
Okay. I think it's the only different shaped Jyotirling, because all the other
Yeah.
Jyotirlings, oh no, I think Triambak is also different, right? Triambak also has
Yes.
3 inside the ground. Otherwise, most of the Jyotirlings are in the shape of the Shivlings, the general Shivlings which we see. This is the only
Yes.
Jyotirling in the triangle shape.
Again, if you just imagine in your mind a Jyotirling of Kedarnath and the hump of a bull,
Yes.
it resembles.
Yes, it does. It does. Yeah, I actually got to see the Jyotirling when Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, our respected Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, has visited the temple. That's when first time we had the visuals of the Kedarnath Temple, particularly
Right.
from people from the south. We're not aware of Kedarnath. We cover most of the South Indian temples, South Indian Jyotirlingas, but
Yeah.
coming to Kedarnath is really hard. But nowadays it has become really easy. So tell me
Yes.
briefly, what is the way to come to Kedarnath? What are the ways to come to Kedarnath, and accommodation and food? General precautions general travelers should be taking.
Okay, we'll put it very briefly. Right.
Yeah.
So, Kedarnath is 248 kilometers away from Dehradun, which is the nearest airport.
Mm.
And it has connecting flights to all the Indian states.
Yeah.
Right. So Dehradun is one centroid point where it has a railway network. It has a good road network to reach to from, be it Delhi or be it any part of India. It's the capital of the state.
Yeah.
So from Dehradun, one could easily, hire cabs or use basic public transport to reach to Sonprayag.
Okay.
Sonprayag is where the transportation ends. From there are shared cabs that take you to a place called Gaurikund, which is 5 kilometers away from Sonprayag.
Okay.
Then you do the trek. So earlier, prior to the Kedarnath floods that happened in 2013,
Yes.
the trek to the temple was 16 kilometers
Mm-hmm.
and steep. Now it's 21 kilometers, and they've tried to cut as much elevation inclination they could. So a person hiking up to Kedarnath can do the 21-kilometer trek in a time frame of 5 to 7 hours according to his speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way. You find mules, etc., on the way. So one could easily that the cost for a mule up and down is approximately 2,500 rupees this
Okay.
year.
Mm-hmm.
And or you could also hire people for back rides.
Yes.
That we call pittus. The cost is approximately the same.
Mm-hmm.
Other way is that air travel has become very frequent, very easy.
Yes.
So IRCTC, that's the Indian Railway website.
Yes. Yes.
They take this from this year onwards. They take care of the chopper tickets, etc. So one can book from there.
Mm-hmm.
So prior to booking any reservations of your accommodation, of your travel, one needs to have a card called a green card, the Char Dham green card.
Okay.
That can be attained from the Kedarnath Badrinath Shrine website.
Okay.
Or GMVN, which is the Kadwal Mandal Vikas Nigam website.
Okay.
Once you have your registration,
Mm-hmm.
the next step is accommodation, because Kedarnath is in such an enclosed valley where a lot of construction cannot happen.
Yes. Yes.
So on the top, you would find very less accommodation places which are fully constructed,
Mm-hmm.
like houses of priests or homestays, etc. There are lots of camps these days that are being put under the supervision of the government. One can stay there. A basic room charge at the top Kedarnath is approximately 5,000 rupees a night,
Mm-hmm.
which includes their food, the dinner,
Okay.
two people. And a tent would cost you approximately 1,000 rupees plus. And yes, air travel is around 7,000 rupees from Gupkashi, which is a heli base.
Okay.
And this year also there's this service called the Char Dham service, which happens. Uh, it starts from Dehradun and via chopper within 3 days you can do all the four
Yes,
dhams
I
of
heard.
Uttarakhand.
Yeah. 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 So, or they can come and stay at your accommodation, the bunker
Of
house.
course, we are the bunk. Yes, we
Yes,
are the bunker house.
because I see
Always
you're
there.
very, like easily located between Kedarnath and Badrinath, if I'm correct, and very near to
Yes.
Tungnath. So you can
Yeah.
cover all the naths. You're like right in the
Yes.
center. So Sparsh here, he has an accommodation. He has a resort kind of an accommodation. It's really good. He has a cafe, and you tell me about it, Sparsh. I think you will better explain about your accommodation.
The bunker house is in the Kedarnath Wildlife Sanctuary in a valley called Chopta,
Mm-hmm.
which is the base to the third Kedar,
Mm-hmm.
Tungnath,
Mm-hmm.
and we are around 47 kilometers away towards Badrinath from Sonprayag, which is the base to Kedarnath. So it's a 1.5 hour ride from us to the base of the Kedarnath trek.
Mm-hmm.
And the heli base of Gupkashi is only and only 20 kilometers, which takes you around 45 minutes from here.
Okay,
So we are very near to
that's very
that.
near. Yeah.
Yeah. And we are on the national highway from Kedarnath to Badrinath, and we are the only multi-cuisine restaurant on the way. We
Yeah.
call it the bunker house, which means a safe house, safe haven in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, that's why it's called bunker house.
That's why it's called bunker house.
Okay.
So this was set up by me and my younger sister back in 2020 after the COVID happened.
Okay.
Right. So we were traveling with a family throughout the area on a road after the first COVID wave, and then we explored the Valley of Chopta. I am a data scientist by academic profession, switched from that to hospitality.
Scientist to a hospitality background.
Yeah, data scientist to a hospitality background.
Wow. Okay, that's quite a flip. That's quite a flip.
Yeah.
Okay. Did
So
COVID do that to you?
Not COVID. I am an avid trekker. I have around 53 summits under my belt in the last 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. We have so many podcasts coming in then. Okay.
Yes.
I have a lot to discuss.
So
Yeah.
Shiva Mountains is my peace and my passion too.
Mine
And like my grandmother always said, that the best professions come out of passion.
So you don't belong to Chopta Valley then?
No, I do not belong to Chopta Valley, to be precise. I'm from the state of Uttarakhand. I belong from a city called Rudrapur, which is around 400 kilometers here from here, and it is the base. It is the base of Nainital. Nainital is one of the famous hill stations in India.
Yes. Wow. Okay. Should go to bunker house. That's my next destination. When I'm coming to Kedarnath, I'm going to stay with you guys and try your food.
Sure.
Yeah.
Would love to.
Yeah. Let's jump to the Gupkashi. Many stories about Gupkashi, and people who meditate over there have like real experience, spiritual people I'm talking about. So what is that place about that Gupkashi?
Okay.
Where is it located?
So earlier we were discussing about the stories about the Pandavas, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when the entire story was being enacted during that time, right? Where the bull's herd was first located, that's where right now Gupkashi is. And the more of the mystery is in the name, we know where Kashi is, right?
Yes.
So Gupkashi.
Yes.
Gupkashi is said to be Kashi on the hills. The temple out there is also during the Pandavas era. It was built during the Pandavas era.
Can we say that it's a secret house for Shiva? Whenever he gets bored in Kashi, he goes to
Yes.
Gupkashi.
Yes, of course.
I have a
So,
feeling, yeah.
so if Shiva was to be found very regularly, it would become people would take you. It would become useless for humans
Yes.
to have that moksha, right?
Yes.
He moves away very frequently.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Guptakashi is a place. It is the base to Kedarnath. It is the base to a temple called Trijugi Narayan. Also,
Narayan.
Trijugi Narayan. So
What
Trijugi
is?
Narayan means
Mm-hmm.
three is three.
Yeah. 3.
Jugi is yug. Yug means eras. Like we have the Satyug and the Kalyug and the Dwapar and Treta.
Okay.
And Narayan is Lord Vishnu.
Lord
Lord
Vishnu.
Narayan.
Yes.
Yes. So Trijugi Narayan is the exact place where Lord Shiva got married to Mata Parvati
Okay.
in the form of Sati in that yug. And so Shivji and Mata Parvati got married in every yug in some or the other form,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And all the three eras, Narayanji was the witness, like we have witnesses these
Yes.
days to
Yes.
marriage,
He was
right?
witness to their
So
marriage. Yes.
he was witness to the marriage.
Yes.
And in the third yug, it is where the marriage happened. And the kund, the fireplace, it's still there. And it's become more of a wedding destinations these days now. And the fire in the kund is still active. It's still there. It burns. You can go and put wood into it. There are priests that take care of it, and it has never eloped since then. So there are marriages happening there where they take the fire from the kund to light up the wedding fire for the Satferas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, do you have any like mystic yogis meditating there in that place?
Okay, so if there are mystic yogis, they're not yogis.
Yeah, we can't
Right?
see them. We can't see
We
them.
can't see them.
Yeah.
But yes, we do get lots of saints, etc. I witnessed it last year. I used to believe that Aghoris and saints, I've seen them of around 60, 70, 80, 90 years also. Last year, I met someone who was 152.
So, how did you know he was 152?
So at the bunker house, we also receive any yoga because these yogis go on foot. They do not drive by car,
Yes.
etc.
Yes.
So we have put up a small room kind of a thing where if they want to stay, put the night they can. If they want to have food, we are open to as much food they can. Right, all these saints, all these cyclists, etc. These days that are putting these hardships. So he came. We offered him tea and food, and he was sitting with us. And that's when he started having communication with me and my mother, and asked him because his hair were very long for a normal human.
Mhm.
So I was very intrigued by the appearance of
Okay.
Yogi Ji. And I asked him, so how old are you? Which should not be a question, but he was very kind to, he said,
Yeah.
what do you think? I said approximately 90. He said, I'm 152.
Wow.
And it got me jitters. I was like, okay.
We have to cross this Guptakashi to reach Kedarnath. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So let's
Yeah.
say if someone's driving off from Dehradun, so
Mm.
Dehradun, Rishikesh, which is the yoga capital of the world,
Yes.
right? Then the next is Devrag. Devrag is where the Ganga emerges. So
Yes.
Mandakini,
Yes.
Alaknanda,
Yes.
Bhagirathi,
Yes.
and Devrag is a sangam of Bhagirathi and
Isn't that Triveni
Alaknanda.
Sangamam? It's Triveni.
No.
No? Okay.
Just the two rivers,
Okay.
Bhagirathi and Alaknanda.
Okay.
Bhagirathi coming from Gangotri, Gomukh, and Alaknanda from the Badrinath and the Kedarnath Valley.
Okay. Okay.
And at Devrag. And then you cross Srinagar, which is not the Srinagar from Jammu, but the Srinagar. And then you reach Rudraprayag, which is also a Prayag. So Prayag means riverside.
Rivers
right?
meeting. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at Rudraprayag, you see the meeting of Mandakini and Alaknanda.
Mm-hmm.
Alaknanda coming from Badrinath and Mandakini from Kedarnath.
Wow.
Then you enter towards Agasthamuni. Agasthamuni is also a holy temple place. And next is Guptakashi. Then is Sonprayag. Sonprayag is again So it is said that there are 5 rivers meeting up at Kedarnath, amongst which 3 are not to be seen.
Wow. Mm.
Hence Sonprayag, and then you start the trek from Gaurikund.
So Gupkashi is where in this way?
After Rudraprayag, the
Mhm.
next major township is Gupkashi.
Okay.
Then Sonprayag, 38 kilometers,
Okay. All right.
and then Gaurikund, and then the Kedarnath trek.
Then the Kedarnath. Yeah. Okay. God. All these names, have this serene feeling to it. While you're explaining them, I feel like I'm having the visuals of them. Yeah. So let's go to Gaurikund. So why is it called Gaurikund?
So Shiv ke bina Shakti adhuri hai, Shakti ke bina Shiv adhure hai.
Yes. Yes.
Right. That's why Shiv Shakti.
Yes.
So it's said to be a kund that was said to be where Mata Gauri bathed, took a bath.
Mm-hmm.
So hence Gaurikund.
So is that the place where Ganesha is born to? Because recently I saw something about a place where Parvati ji has
No,
born.
no. That's Dodital.
Okay, so that's not from here.
That's a totally different sector in Uttarakhand.
Okay, but it is in Uttarakhand though.
Yes. That's why it's Devbhumi, right?
Yes, you guys are lucky. Yeah. So let's go to Kedarnath. So while trekking Kedarnath, are there any important places while trekking? I heard that there is this Bhairav Mandir while trekking to Kedarnath.
Okay. So Bhairav Mandir is not while trekking to Kedarnath. You reach Kedarnath first. You visit the Kedarnath temple.
Mm-hmm.
From the Kedarnath temple, it's a 1.1 kilometer trek, hike up to Bhairav.
Oh, the one on the no. I'm talking about the other Bhairav temple. I heard that there is one more small shrine while you're trekking to Kedarnath.
Yes, on the way you'll find a Bhairav temple. You also find a Hanuman Shila, right?
Okay.
Hanuman, which is called Hanuman Chatti.
Yes.
Chatti Shila.
Yes, I heard that. Yes. Okay. So and then you go to Kedarnath.
Yes.
Tell me that first glimpse a person will have when he sees the Kedarnath itself. I don't know. He has this feeling of generally in all the temples you need to enter into the temple to get that vibe. But Kedarnath has this. Whenever the stairs finish and it opens up. Oh my God! I just can't. It's like I'm getting goosebumps right now. Tell me that first experience of him.
Right now, when you're saying it, I'm just going back nostalgia. I'm going to nostalgia the first time I visit the shrine.
Yes.
And it's around 1.5 kilometers prior to the temple that you take a curve and you start seeing the entire valley. That that image that you're just describing.
Yes.
I mean, the first time I went there, I was just I didn't want to cry. I was happy. I was getting goosebumps. I'm still getting goosebumps.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, and I was crying. I was smiling. I was crying.
Yes.
That is the power out there. I mean, it's a pull. It's such a magnetic pull out there. He only knows what he's put there, but you leave the world behind. Your heart just sinks into him.
Yes. I understand you completely. Though I haven't been to Kedarnath, have you heard about a place called Arunachalam in Tamil Nadu? Tiruvannamalai?
Arunachalam, yeah. Yes, Tiruvannamalai.
That's another magnetic pull too in the south. All the expressions you just gave me, the crying part and the magnetic pull, I get that. I call him Appa, which is meaning father in Tamil.
Father.
Yeah. So I get that. Please, for the viewers, I want you to describe entering the Kedarnath from the Nandishwara who is sitting there to entering to the shrine. Please give me that visual experience now, please.
Okay, so before reaching Shiva, you have to take permission of Nandi.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because he's the messenger, he's the carrier of Lord Shiva.
Yes.
So once you reach the compound of the temple, you're just walking up these 5 stairs just prior to this entire thing. And then you reach a guarded place where Nandiji is. And just with his face into the Kedarnath temple, he's just overlooking Lord Shiva throughout and throughout.
Yes.
You reach out there. I mean, you cannot see the Garbh, which is called the tomb.
Yes, Garbhagruha.
Garbhagruha. You can see it from outside now.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, they could.
Okay.
During the COVID time, barriers were put, and people are not allowed to go. This year again, people are being allowed to go. Luckily,
Oh, good. Okay.
yeah. And Nandi, and that's where everything blacks out. It's you zone out. I mean, because you're so into the moment, you cannot see anything, any human being around you. Because, and that's for everyone. Even if there are a million people standing out there, they would think, or they would only see that they are only there. It's like a movie happening where you are there. Everything is slow mo. It's very fast, and all you could see is Shiva standing in front of you, him and you,
Yeah.
and it's there. It's there. There's no second thought about it.
Yeah.
And then you get into the garbhagriha, the aroma, the natural aroma.
So, after crossing Nandi, how many rooms are there before Garbhagriha?
Okay, so there are the temple is built into two parts, you could say,
Okay.
right?
Hmm.
After crossing Nandi, you
Mhm.
enter from the main door.
Mm-hmm.
There's one part which is you could call a hall,
Mm-hmm.
small hall, not very huge. Only around 40 to 50 people can stand maximum.
Okay.
And then there is a smaller door
Okay.
inside which the Jyotirling is.
Okay.
And that door opens, but there's a barrier ahead of that where you have to stand and do the worship.
Okay.
You cannot go. For that also, every morning when the Shringar happens, when the Tilak Abhishek happens, that's when you can, have those visuals, and the door opens completely and you can go in around 20, 10 to 15 people except for the priest. You need to
Okay.
have those prior permissions or special requests
Okay.
earlier.
Okay.
Yes. And then you come out.
You
It's not needed.
you can touch
Yeah.
him? Can you touch him?
No, no,
You can't touch him? Like in any special puja, also you can't touch him?
nothing. Only the Raval's assistant and the
Okay.
Raval is allowed to touch the
Why
Jyotirling.
why is that? The other Jyotirlingas, you can touch them.
Okay. Why is that? It's just let's narrate it to an animal being touched if not wanted to. And if you touch a bull's hump, we never want to get him into his standard mode, right?
Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Maybe, okay. Understood. Maybe this Shiva here in this Jyotirling form should not be touched in that sense.
Yeah, and yes, it's see, to touch Shiva, to hug Shiva, it's you need to have reached a certain level of purity from inside. Your soul should be pure. And anytime you go to Kedarnath, you have to go to Bhairavnath, because the Kedarnath Yatra is not completed if you do not go to Bhairavnath.
Okay, I have to ask you something here. Is there any inner pradakshina where you have to do, or you have to come outside the temple and do a pradakshina?
You have to do outside. You have to come outside the temple and do a
So there is nothing to the inner sanctum you can do the pradakshina.
When the Abhishek happens in the morning, and when the inner kapad, inner doors are open, then of course they make you do it.
Okay. Okay.
But you cannot do it as such inside.
Okay. Okay. So you can't sit in the first hall. Also, you can't sit there. Maybe you can just stand, enter.
You cannot sit there. You can.
Okay.
Yes, on a line, because on an average 30,000 people a day go to the
I
and
understand.
it takes.
I understand. So let's say if you want to meditate, what is the right place to meditate? There near the shrine.
Yes. So there's a huge compound on the all four sides of the shrine now,
Yes.
where you'll find lots of yogis and lots of aghoris
Nagpats,
doing meditation.
Nagpants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We call his entire barat, his wedding.
That's a nice word.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Shivji's entire barat.
Yeah.
You can meditate out there. There are lots of gufas out there,
Yes.
which was accessed by our prime minister also.
So that's
2 years.
true.
Yeah.
Okay. He meditated in the gufas. Oh yeah, when he was
meditated
there.
out there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah. At present, when you look at the temple, I believe there is Adi Shankaracharya's idol, which has been recently opened by
Yes.
Narendra Modi ji.
Yes.
Is that between the, I mean, like while you're going to the Bhairava temple, or where is that located?
Okay. This is the entire compound, which in the center has the temple.
Mm-hmm.
On the back of it is where during the Kedarnath floods,
Mm-hmm.
the Bhimshila, that huge rock came and cut the force of the water.
Okay, so we'll go to that point later.
Yeah,
Okay.
the temple,
Mm-hmm.
and just around 10 meters is the Shila.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just take a slight angle left, and then you enter the
Yes.
entire
Okay.
Adi Shankara.
Enter Adi Shankara. And then from there, you have to go to the Bhairava temple.
Bhairava temple is away from the compound. It's like 1.1 kilometers away. It's not the same route that you follow.
Okay. Okay.
It's behind where the hotels or the homestays are.
Okay.
And the path starts away from it. It's hardly 1.1 kilometer exactly from the Kedarnath temple.
Okay. Okay. So the Bhairava is the protector of the Kedarnath temple.
Yes.
Okay. So I heard that there are Nath Panths who take care of the Bhairava temple, and particularly
Bhairava temple.
his name is Sheninath, the one yogi who is living there right now.
Yes.
Have you met him?
Yes. No. With the last time I went, it was during the COVID, and hence I
Okay.
could not meet him.
Okay.
But yes, that's true that he takes care of it. Bhairava is said to be Lord Bhairava is the god of ghosts.
Okay. So by Bhairava, we're talking about Kala Bhairava, right? Yeah. So is the energy different from Kedarnath temple to the Bhairanath temple?
The energy is not different.
Mm-hmm.
See, you go to God or you go to his messenger or his protector, it's the same thing. Right?
Okay.
For Shivji, he viewed everyone as the same. It's not different.
Yeah.
And I believe the best view of the temple, the best aerial view or high view, it's from Bhairanath. So you'll find lots of people standing out there. These days, lots of content creators going to Bhairanath and trying to create content for their self or the channel, etc.
Okay.
But it's a very small structure out there. It's a pathway. Then you enter. On the right side is where the temple is. There's a view place where two benches, and that's it. That's it. Nothing more than that.
Okay. I heard that there is some kind of a tantrism involved with Bhairava temple, the Bhairanath.
Yes. So, like I mentioned, that he's called the god of ghosts.
Okay.
And things like tantrism, black magic. It's related to ghosts, right? When you can control souls and make them do what you want. That's what tantrism is.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, tantric is not a bad thing. People actually made it into a very bad thing. Tantrism is nothing but doing the ritual to the god. It's just you doing the ritual to the god. It's called tantrism, but there are left and right wings to it, which is a deep subject.
The yin and a yang to everything.
Yeah, for everything. That's so true. Did you meditate at the Kedarnath temple? Any experience?
I started meditating at night, me with my entire family. Okay. And we in the millennial language, let's call it an all-nighter.
Okay.
And we started meditating around 8 in the evening, and we meditated till 4 in the morning when we went
continuously.
It wasn't 100% focused during all times because we aren't weather resistant and still not reach that level of meditation or focus. Okay. But yes, we tried to. We were sitting there. We meditated without moving. We were there, and so I've not still reached enlightenment. I do not even know exactly what enlightenment is because there are multiple narrations too.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But it's like a taste of it. What that day I felt was a taste of it.
Okay.
And me being a 23-year-old being out there, not even understanding exactly how meditation is done and what forms of things are to be kept. So my form of meditation is to sit in the yogi pose that we do and just focus inside me.
That's all you have to do.
That's all you do, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I tried to do.
Yeah.
And it changed me. Hence, it moved me away from the metro city of Hyderabad to where I was working to this place.
Okay, so you were working in Hyderabad.
Yes, I was working in Hyderabad. I was there for 3 years.
So you know how to speak Telugu?
A little bit, yes.
Koncham,
but I'm
koncham. Koncham,
Koncham
koncham.
Macha.
I am Telugu.
Ah,
Yes. Okay.
okay.
All right. So, talk to me about those yogis and spiritual people who are sitting around the temple. Because see, from my knowledge comes from Tirunamalai and Arunachalam down south. Okay. So there are real sadhus, like real spiritual people. Have you heard about Ramana Maharshi? And there are some Yogi Ram Sudh Kumar. There are real enlightened beings in
Yes.
Tirunamalai. And there are people who are still living on the footpaths, but they are really enlightened. I have met so many in my spiritual journey. So are all these people, because trust me, it's not easy to live in Himalayas. I know how hard it is, you know. So have you met any such special enlightened beings when you're there?
Yes. So there are lots of yogis and lots of people in all forms and all appearances out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you go there are people who claim to be something. There are people who are something,
Okay.
right? And when you reach out there, when you're sitting out there, you there are no cellular network. You cut away from the world, and that's when the real world comes into your eyes.
Yes. Yes.
You meet these souls out there. So I was lucky enough to meet a few of them, to have a basic word,
Mm.
to understand their narration and their views around Lord Shiva, Kedarnath, and basics.
Mm.
One thing was common in all these people that they told me.
Mm-hmm.
They told me that if you really want to find Shiva, stop chasing him.
Yes, he will chase you. He will chase you.
And these individuals, they throughout the year, I met a person who does all these 12 Jyotirlings on foot.
Yes. Yes.
They do it throughout the year. You'll find them in Banaras. You'll find them in Allahabad, now Prayagraj, and you'll find them on all these places in Madhya
Yeah.
Pradesh and Maharashtra. And they come over here on the opening of the kapats of Kedarnath every year.
Yes. Yes.
It's around an 88-day journey from Prayagraj to coming over here on foot for these guys. They come out there, they see, they sit, and you'll see them sitting and meditating, and tears coming out from their eyes. You don't know their age, how long have they been sitting, what weather have they been fighting, because the nature is not very kind out there, right?
No. No. Yeah.
But the determination to just sit and wait for him to come and pick you up.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get it. So when you said the about the nature and how the weather is for the 6 months, so we see in all these videos how they carry Shiva from Tungnath. Where do they
No.
carry Shiva from?
Okay, so very near to us,
Okay.
where we are right now,
Mm-hmm.
is a place called Ukimat. Ukimat holds the temple of Omkareshwar, which is the winter home for two of the Kedars, Panch Kedars, two
Mhm.
amongst the Panch Kedars, Kedarnath
Mhm.
and Madhmaheshwar.
Okay. Right.
Yes.
So when they are bringing the Shiva's idol, the silver idol with faces,
Five faces.
five faces.
Five.
So that's Panch Kedars.
Panchmukhi Kedar. No. So that's just the Shiva's idol from Kedarnath.
Okay.
Madhmaheshwar has a different idol, and they bring Lord Madhmaheshwar in the same way. Same goes for Tungnath
Okay.
and the Kedars.
So that is an idol which is made of silver with
Silver,
five
yes.
faces of Shiva.
Yes.
So before it is coming from Kedarnath to the Mat, so where is it placed in Kedarnath while it is in Kedarnath?
It's in the Garb.
Is it on the Jyotirlinga itself?
No.
No.
Just on a small setup chalky stage behind it. So when they're closing the temple a night prior to it, so the temple closes on the festival of Bhai Dooj. That's 2 days after Diwali,
Mm-hmm.
and a night prior to it, the kapat closed at 4 a.m. in the morning. So a night prior to it, all these raval and priests they close the doors at around 8 in the evening after the aarti, and the entire night, because 6 months no one's gonna get inside.
Okay.
there's a shringar, which we call decoration,
Mhm.
of or happens. They leave food and items of need, and they cover the Jyotirling with it.
Okay.
And then, with the permission, the Shiva idol, or the Panchmukhi Shivling, is picked up and kept into the Toli, where it is there the entire night. And 4 a.m. on the Bhai Dooj, uh, they pick it up, and then they start coming down on foot from there to Ukhimat, which is a distance of 62 in total.
Kilometers
Yes,
by foot.
62 kilometers by foot.
Okay, so is there any Akhand Dweep which is there in the temple, like Akhand Jyoti? It
Yes,
is
Akhand Jyot is, yes, it
all
is there.
6 months.
All 6 months.
Wow. And then so the Shiva is brought to the Ukimat. Here he gets all kinds of pujas, the same kind of pujas, whatever he's getting in the Kedarnath.
Yes,
Everything is
yes,
done to him here.
yes,
Okay. And people can go and have darshan here, or
yes. People can go and cannot touch, but can go and have darshans.
can go and have darshan. So when is the time you bring him back to Kedarnath?
So like this year, it happened on 26th of May.
Mm-hmm.
So this year it was on 26th of May, the Kapat opened. The journey starts 3 days prior to the opening. So basically on 23rd morning, the Doli was picked up from Ukhimat, and with an army band. It's like a celebration,
Yes, I've seen it. Yes.
and 62 kilometers of foot
Celebration
celebration
endlessly.
throughout. So you travel from Ukimat, you cross Gupkashi, you cross Fada, Sonprayag, and Gaurikund, and then trek all the way up with Lord Shiva. And this is the time where you'll find tens of thousands of people going with the Doli.
Okay, so anyone can carry the dolly, or is there any restriction to that?
No. Not everyone can carry the Doli. You can be
Okay.
the part of the contingent that's taking,
Mm-hmm.
but you cannot touch or carry the Doli. It's by the priests and selected people that do that.
Okay. In one of the videos, I saw that the dolly is taking people. It's actually moving on its own.
Yes,
So, what is the story behind
yes.
that?
Okay, so in the Himalayan culture, be it
Mhm.
Uttarakhand, Himachal,
Mhm.
right? So gods and goddesses are because the weather for 6 months it snows so heavy, and so that it is accessible to human race. They are shifted from higher temples to the ones accessible. So they're taken in dolis. Dolis is like how you take, a how in the earlier ages the newly married would go
Yes.
from,
Mm.
right,
Mm.
similar way, and they are placed in the center. And because, see, at the end it's God.
Yes.
And since when started to believe that humans can carry God? No, right?
No, we
We are
can't.
not even close to the close to that form of respect. This Doli, it has so much power, and I have never been able to witness this entire regime prior in my life. But this year, me and my family were lucky to. And I always saw these videos coming on the internet where this is happening, like you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And me being, I'm a very intriguing, person who likes to find out why,
Yes.
right? I go and search for it. So this year I went and I wanted to witness it. So in my mind, uh, I was thinking, Shivji, just praying, bless me, basic. The Doli, when it was just passing in front of me, it bowed down like you gave a like this, and I didn't speak it out. I did not speak it out, but
Mm.
it did, it was so much. It becomes so heavy in that instant that the people carrying it have to put it, like, if
Yes.
you are on the left, it goes towards the left, and they're
Yes.
not controlling it.
Yes. 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 I understand. Yes.
And it happened with Tongnath Doli also. My mom and dad, they went, and my mom had some prasad in her hand that she wanted to offer to the Doli, a bhaint, right? And she was on the back of the crowd. She was not able to go ahead because there's so much of crowd. And she's thinking, "Yaar, I made this for Lord Shiva. I
Yeah.
made this, so
Yeah.
I need to offer it to him."
Yeah.
The dolly started coming towards her. 15-20 minutes, it did not move till mom distributed the prasad to all the people around and said, Ki, Tungnath, Lord Tungnath, please go to your residence.
Wow.
I'll come.
Wow. Wow.
So,
I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps.
yeah.
I had lots of experiences with Lord Shiva. I haven't spoken about it in all my podcasts, but this is the actual me. I got to speak me in this podcast. It's about him. It's about Lord Shiva. Sorry, viewers, if you're getting offended whenever I'm saying him or Shiva. I'm calling it as a singular name.
But he's a father, right?
Yeah, he's my father. It's out of love I'm speaking the way I'm speaking. I'm sorry if I'm offending you. So this happens in South too. I just want to let you know
Yeah.
this happens in South too.
Okay.
How you have the dolly and then dolly is being pulled over. In the same way in the South, you have similar kind of a dolly, not a closed one, but an open one. It does
Rath
the same
Yatra.
thing. Not the Rath Yatra. Rath Yatra is different. If you have seen Arunachalam, I always go back to Arunachalam. That's my father's place. So I always go back to him. So he also pulls you like that. The people who
Okay.
carry him, they are being pulled in different directions always. Particularly
Nice.
on Kartika festival. Are you aware of Kartika festival? And
Not
then
rightly.
Shivratri, yeah, which is very
Yes.
famous in Arunachalam. So this
Okay.
happens. That's not new. Okay, so let's come back to the Kedarnath temple. I heard that it is faced north-south direction, the temple itself.
Yes. Not
That
so.
is why it has been saved from the floods, is a notion I have heard. I don't know how far that is true. Because it's north-south direction, that is how it was saved. Like anything, you have anything to say about it? Like why is it north-south direction or?
It is north south, yes, that's true.
Mhm, mhm.
And let's get into Vastu, where you always enter from either your door should never be on the south. You should not ever enter from the south.
Okay.
So it's said in Vastu, right?
Yes.
Similarly, the temple is built in such a way that the south has the Himalayan backdrop, so it's said to be covered. It's a heavier back,
Heavier
and
back.
the entrance and the entrance is from the northeast.
Right.
But that is how I believe that
Yeah.
the maestros then had planned it according to the vastus.
Okay.
But coming to the Kedarnath floods, the unfortunate floods that happened in 2013.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, it becomes if something's built right, it can be saved from anything, right? So it is one of the facts stated that why it was saved, but a lot of it was due to the force of water being cut down by Bhimashila.
Yeah. So where was this Bhimashila before the floods happened?
We don't know. So what happened was on the early morning, or you could say late night of 15th of June on 2013 that year.
Mhm.
Right. So there are lots of small ponds or tals in the Himalayas, glaciers, right? So there was this tal out there which is called Gandhi Tal, which was out there, and around that time of June it starts raining heavily out here. The monsoon arrives, the pre-monsoon. So there were predictions of heavy rainfall. The rain was happening. The streams were running on the full due to the rainwater being there. But uh, you could say due to the global warming effect that we have seen in the past years that's doing to our mountains, there was where the lake is, where the lake was eventually. Now there's no lake out there, but where the lake.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you
Yeah.
mean by
So
now
where the
there is
lake,
no lake over there?
so the Kedarnath flood water came from that lake.
So no,
That
what
lake
happened to the lake now?
earlier where there was a lake, there was some avalanche kind of a thing that happened,
The rocks
right?
and
And
all the
yes,
it's filled
yes.
up. It's filled, land filled.
And no, it's not landfill. So these rocks came, and it because of heavy rainfall, soil erosion started happening, and the mouth of the lake it just opened up.
Oh, okay.
And it was like a blast
Yeah.
because if you just put a hole into a bucket and if you put a lot of pressure is happening and it'll just erupt.
Yeah.
So that was a thunderous sound on 16th June early morning, and The next thing that people witnessed was 100 meters, 100 feet high of way of water coming towards them.
So when you said 4 a.m. in the morning, was the temple open?
Temple was just on the preparation of being open. They were around, so it was a full moon, and these things happen on a full moon, right? There's some
Yes, the
connection to
the water
normal
generally is in more high tide. Yeah,
turbulent.
yeah.
So it was Purnmashi of that month, and on Purnmashis and Amavasyas, usually there is a lot of spiritual power being in the nature power. So people go and want to grasp it.
Yes.
Even in the Tantrism, we see
Yeah,
this, right?
yeah. Even in meditation,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there were around 75,000 people that night in the entire Kedarnath stretch from Gaurikund to Kedarnath, who were, because earlier the trek was allowed throughout the day. You could do it 24 hours whenever you want to start.
Okay. So
Yeah.
nobody knew. There was no warning. Nobody knew it was coming.
There was an orange alert by the meteorological department, but back then IMF wasn't so profound to be accurate about it all. The apps like AccuWeather and all these came into common use very later, right? So all this is happening, and people are going to worship out
Yeah.
there. And so even today, if it's raining, people still go there. It's because it's a different pull,
I know it's
right?
him. Even if
It's
something
him.
happens, it's him. So
It's
yeah,
him.
yeah.
But were in the valley. So this compound and all this area wasn't there. There were lots of hotels,
I
lots of
remember.
structure.
I remember because when my parents were there in 2006, they visited Kedarnath Temple. I have all the pictures. The path is so narrow. Now
Narrow.
it's so wide, and they're all shops, and then immediately the temple, right? Like continuous shops
Yes.
and temple.
Yes. So anything that was in the way of the water, except for the temple, it all vanished.
Yeah.
Nothing was there. So the terror of someone seeing 100 feet high wave coming towards him in the middle of nowhere, no
Yeah.
medivacs because zero visibility,
Yeah.
nothing. And I I have talked to a person. I talked to a person who was there at Gaurikund. He was a guard out there. Talked to a person who was strangled inside the temple because he's the priest's son. And he says that it was like, when Shiva goes into his Tandav mood,
Yeah.
and his third eye opens.
Okay.
There's a it's thunderous. We heard a thunder, and 10 minutes later nothing was there. And this is happening. There's this place that comes when you do the trek around 5 kilometers from Gaurikund on the foot. There's this place called Rambala.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard the whole village is vanished now.
Rambala had around 120 homestays, hotels, small shops.
Okay.
And you cross from the left side of the uh, valley of the mountain, cross the Mandakini to go to the right side and do the start doing the trek on the right side. Everything went away. There's no trace. I went there back. Last I went there was 2020. There's no trace of it. So it is said that there are about 70,000 people missing or dead till date, and they have to say missing because the bodies weren't found. The person who was at Gaurikund, he told me that when we heard that sound, we thought that it's the cloud thunder. It's a thunderstorm that's coming towards us. But when we saw from Gaurikund, you can see the bridge of Rambala. It's 5 kilometers of hiking, but you can see the bridge.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And he saw that we could, because, and it's so inclined, Gaurikund is so inclined because it's so low on the trek that you can basically see the entire Mandakini from coming from the up. And for them, what at Kedarnath was 100 feet, it seemed that it was higher than the mountains they had seen, The water was coming from such a high altitude and inclination towards them. They started running diagonally up towards the mountains as high as he could. The person, he told me that when the water flew by, he could, because of the altitude it was coming from, and suddenly at Gaurikund, the Mandakini dives. It's like it dives into the calmer side of it
Okay.
because of this altitude gain in within 1 kilometer from
Okay. So the,
Gaurikund.
the inclination has stopped, maybe. The
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. It's like a waterfall out there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Okay.
that. And but there were remains or debris, and he had almost climbed 300, 400 meters on top of the Gaurikund mountain, and it was a rain of debris that was coming towards him. Clothes, construction items, structures, people, people. And this is what happened. And there are multiple narrations of people. People believe that because we human, again, like I saw in the earlier talk that I mentioned, that purity uh, in our heart that we have,
Yeah.
and with intentions. So to this date, Kedarnath now has become more of a reachable point by anyone.
Yes.
It's a tourism destination. Earlier, it was a pilgrimage destination,
Yeah.
right? So so things like last year we had a person. There was a person caught who was having hookah on the temple compound.
Okay.
So such deeds that made Shiva reset everything. And there is a narration that because, like I said, that Adi Shakti, Shiva is half without Shakti. So in this valley, we have two temples of goddess Parvati and her deity form of Kalima.
Hmm.
So one is Dhari Devi,
Yes.
which is in between Srinagar and Rudraprayag,
Mhm.
and one is Kalimat, which is again very near to Gupkashi, 9 kilometers from Gupkashi, and
Oh.
it is just on the river. It is on Mandakini, the
Isn't it
temple.
like they have built some with some concrete? It's in between the river.
That's Dhari Devi.
Dari Devi. Yes.
Okay, so how it is that the upper half of the goddess is at Kalimat, and the lower half is at Dhari Devi. It's split, right? So a day prior to 15th June morning, because there's this Alaknanda hydro power plant that was being built at Srinagar, and they had to control the water from on the upper area so that the dam could be completed.
Okay.
They removed Dhari Devi idol from its original place, and even with all the puja and all the rituals, they removed it. They moved it on a different location so that the dam could be built. And 6th and 15th night, all this happened. So they say that Dhari Devi is the protector of Kedarnath and Badrinath
Yeah.
on Alaknanda, and we humans we tangled with it. So was the reaction to the action that we did.
Yeah.
Now this year, finally, it's been located back to where it eventually was. It's elevated. But again, it's put back to where it was, around 20 feet higher to exactly where it was. But at least the location is same.
Yeah. Yeah. People just don't understand. Maybe there will be some people who will be commenting on this also, like, you don't have to believe in all these things and stuff like that. But there are things which you need to believe and which you need to respect and let them as they are, particularly with the Kedarnath floods. There are so many rumors of one which you
Yeah.
have stated, and there are something else as well, like which the Shivji was not happy with what was happening too. So I hope at least in the future they do not make such huge amendments, at least to the places with that kind of energy, because those are all energy centers. You should not touch them.
Right.
It's as simple as don't go and touch a nuclear plant, right? You don't go and touch it. Yeah, so don't touch
See,
this. Yeah.
it's like a volcano. It's a volcano
Yeah.
of energy out there. You don't
Yeah.
dive into a volcano, right? You'll perish.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. So all these 75,000 people, they're not just from Kedarnath. They are from Rambara, and then people who were in Gaurikund, and on the way, people who are trekking.
Yes.
Wow.
So the trek is such that once you start the trek, now there are lots of things and facilities, thanks to the central government, that are
Yes.
being
Yes.
made for use of people and the pilgrims going up.
Yes. Yes.
But earlier that wasn't the case.
Yes. Yes.
So there was, and on the right you have the Mandakini, on the left you have high mountains
Yes.
to climb,
Yeah.
and you're just walking. That's how it is, and you have nowhere to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Whatever the central government is doing by making it accessible, people should make good use of it, not treating it as a
Yes.
tourist place. Not treating it as a tourist place. You should have respect to some places. Please treat them with respect, not just to, because those places are places of energy. You should feel them.
See,
I,
with great power comes great responsibility. If you have the power of accessibility, you should have the power of maintaining it.
yeah, true. True. Well said. Yeah. So these mountains, which are like behind the Kedarnath temple, is that the Kedar mountain?
So on 22,000 feet altitude, just behind the temple is the Kedarnath mountain.
Okay.
Then you have Chokhamba on its. So it's like a 200-degree backdrop that Kedarnath temple has of
Yes.
snow-capped high altitude
Yes.
mountains.
Yes.
You have the Jora Devi Glacier
Okay.
sitting. Then
Okay.
you have the Kedarnath mountain. You have the Chokhamba mountain
Yeah.
out there.
Okay. So is there Mars shrine also in Kedarnath temple?
No. So there are idols of uh, Draupadi ji with the five Pandavas inside the garb also.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only lady structure, female
Okay.
structure there. You have the Gaurikund, you have the temple of Parvati Ma on the bases,
Mm.
but out there it's Shivji, because
Okay.
like the
He is in his
entire
penance. That's a form of his penance when he's in
yes,
penance, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. See, there is Trijugi Narayan where the marriage happened,
Yes.
and there is a Parvati Ma temple out there
Yeah.
near
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So ahead from that, it's Shiva's abode.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Understood. So where did this Bhimshila come from? No one has ever like.
Uh, it's so Bhim ji was so strong that Shivji had said that you will always be there to protect Kedarnath, which in X or the Y form you will be there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was only said to Bhim, not the other four Pandavas.
Okay.
So this is said to be a rock that is that it's a debris from that lake eruption itself, mountain eruption, and
Okay.
so before the rock reaches the water speed, right?
Yeah.
So some water started flowing by, but luckily that much water was gathered up by the river area of Mandakini itself. And when the main or when the main waves, or I would say when the chunk of water the was before that reached the Bhim Shila and the water cut.
Isn't that
That's
a
why
miracle?
now, yeah, it's a miracle. There's no explanation to it. There is no scientific theory behind it.
Yeah, and then you have the Bhimshila exactly behind the temple. Isn't
Just
the what do you call the measurement also? Isn't it exactly how much the
yeah,
temple is?
just uh, I can ask anyone to come and just see there once. Just imagine a rock that huge mountain chunk coming from 10-12 kilometers high in such a speed and stopping at around 5 to 10 meters from the temple in
Yes.
such a angle, in such a measurement that anything coming towards the temple is blocked by it.
Har Har Mahadev.
Har Har Mahadev, Jai Shambhu.
Jai Shambho.
So
Nothing more to say regarding that. Wow. Uttarakhand, I think it's literally heaven with all gods and goddesses living there in all kinds of forms, mountains to rivers to, in the form of temples for us so that we can identify them. Otherwise, in the form of nature itself. Yeah.
similarly, the Om Parvat, right? We are all aware about Om Parvat.
Yes. Yes.
How can nature depict Om and Om
Yeah.
being the word for Hinduism.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh, there is a lot to dive into this topic, particularly if it has to be about Shiva. It's Anant. There are no boundaries to it. So as we have time restrictions, we have to wrap this. Really, I can't thank you enough. I'm losing my words. Like, I'm a little bit I went to Kedarnath today. I had a darshan of him today. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much. I loved talking to you. It was a refreshing thing for me too.